Hello, everyone. We're back. Welcome.
Hi.
This is Teresa Szlachetka.
Yep.
And she is a master's student.
Yes.
You have completed your medical training, though.
Yes.
And you're doing a master's before you go do your residency.
Exactly.
So she's a super underachiever, people. She just doesn't want to go anywhere in life and help people. All kidding aside, welcome. We're really happy that you're here. You're training with Dr. Diane Lacaille.
Yes, I am.
Who actually was just recently interviewed. Yeah, so you're just following in the footsteps of your mentor. Just a reminder to our Facebook and Twitter live viewers, this is the #CArthritis event at the Canadian Rheumatology Association and Arthritis Health Professionals Association annual scientific meeting, and we're in Montreal, Quebec, where it is freezing cold. So we're happy to be inside in the studio. Teresa, we really wanted to chat with you about a couple of things. So one, you're here and you were awarded a poster presentation,
yes,
which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And your poster is, I quote, systematic review of studies reporting on cognitive function in rheumatoid arthritis compared to the general population. So first of all, explain to our viewers, a lot of whom are patients, some are just public who stumbled across our network. What in the heck is a systematic review?
Okay.
Yeah, and how do you do them?
Okay.
There you go. You're gonna teach them what you're learning, right?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
good.
Basically, a systematic review is, in the simplest terms, it's say if you have a certain topic you have to write about,
Like cognitive function in rheumatoid arthritis.
Yes.
Okay.
You basically search all of the literature and all of the information on it and see what is summarized from all of that information and take out what you need. So basically, every article that talks about cognitive function in RA, you have to dive through and look through, and so you're left with kind of, ideally, all of the information on the topic that you want that's currently available in the realm.
And is this just when you search the literature, are we talking about peer-reviewed type of papers, or are we talking about gray literature as well? Is it all literature? Because gray literature is something that a patient organization might write about, which is distilled basically from research. But are you including that in your systematic review, or is it just pure papers that have been published, peer-reviewed and published on the topic?
For this systematic review, it's papers that have been published.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay. And I'm always curious to know, because these things are exhaustive efforts.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was actually
not bad.
A pretty specific question, and one that hasn't been studied a huge amount.
Which is the reason you do it.
Yeah.
So for those who want to learn about research methodology, when you do a systematic review on a particular question, let's say you thought, well, what is the cognitive function in rheumatoid arthritis? And you find 1,000 papers on it. Do you kind of say, okay, that's already been done? But what if those papers don't lead to any kind of things that will actually help people's cognitive function? I'm always fascinated by this. So in your review, tell us what you found in your review, I guess is what I'm trying to say, inelegantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, talking about the number of titles, I think I ended up with about 800.
And
And it went down to the articles that I actually reviewed that reported on original data of cognitive function on RA were about 8.
So you put them through a sifter, in other words.
Yeah, you sift by title, then you sift by the abstract, and then you read the articles and then sift through to see if they actually report on data that's original to that study, pertaining to what you're trying to take out of the study. And
so when you're doing a master's, this actually goes a long way in actually building your educational background.
Yeah,
so you learn a lot, and I'm guessing this is how people like you, who are, beyond training wheels, but you know what I mean, like where you're just getting started. Is this the tipping point where people get super interested in one topic versus another? Is a review like this, does it sort of light a fire for you?
It depends. I mean, I was interested in the research question to begin with, so I wanted to do a systematic review and then move on to look at my data and see how it's compared to what I found.
Yeah.
So, no, it's interesting. It's definitely something that's great to do because you learn so much along the way. And
as
so
you're reading.
And so much about the research process too.
Yeah. So tell us about the poster. So tell us let's just pretend that it's the poster tour.
Yes.
And you're going to pitch me the poster.
So essentially, I won't repeat the titles and abstracts,
yeah.
but so what our study found was from the articles that reported on cognitive function in RA, for us, 6 out of 8 articles reported that patients with RA had cognitive function in certain domains that was lower than the general population or age-based population norms.
Okay.
And it was interesting because it was mainly in domains like memory processing, not so much as comprehension and intellect, but more so the speed of processing information. And this all comes from, this whole idea of this question comes a lot from patients complaining of sometimes when they have
brain fog.
Brain fog, exactly. And it's just like, what is this brain fog? Because it could be so many things.
Oh, our viewers are going to love this because we tweet about brain fog all the time, but I don't think most of us know where it's rooted.
Exactly, and there's not a lot of research on it, but when you look at all of the articles, you see that across certain aspects of cognitive function, they're more commonly affected.
Versus the general population.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the general population's not walking around with this cognitive domain being diminished, and so that's what you're attributing then. Okay, this is a contributing factor to brain fog. What you said, I think you said there were a couple of domains where there were sort of lower scores or diminished.
Yes.
So what's the other one?
So the
ability to resist chocolate, in my case.
Maybe that one didn't come up.
That one didn't come up.
I'll have to look.
Okay, good.
But so there was fluency, there was some memory processing.
Okay.
And just more so processing and fluency.
Fluency.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by fluency?
By fluency, I mean the kind of the flow of thoughts.
Okay, so if I feel like
kind of your thoughts are jumbled.
Yeah, I'm jumbled. I can't kind of keep things straight.
Yeah. Brain fog.
Brain fog.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, rock star. I love it. So when do you present this? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. So you're practicing your pitch.
Exactly.
It sounds like you know it inside and out. So
well, after you do a review, you just know everything about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just like
remember it all because you
turn her on. Yeah. Well, congratulations, because I, as a patient who's been involved in research for a long time, I do understand that doing these systematic reviews are not a walk in the park, and you can just pull it in your eyes. Some trainees I've known, master's students, PhD students, they end up needing, glasses at the end of it all because they did so much reading.
So much screen time.
Exactly. So you finished your medical training.
Yes.
You're doing this master's, and then you go on to do your residency. So just to sort of demystify the process, how much longer have you got to go on what are you working on as your thesis?
This, and there's a second part of the thesis which looks at data we've collected, and it has data on cognitive function, but as well as so many different demographic factors and sleep and anxiety and all these different factors to see what other possible things are determinants of cognitive function in RA. If it's just disease activity or inflammation, or if it's something else.
If there's something environmental,
Exactly.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So after the master's, then you go do a residency.
Yes.
And so describe what residency is, because a lot of people just don't know what the process is to grow up a fantastic, wonderful doctor like you.
So residency is basically your first job as a doctor, really.
Okay.
So you finish medical school and then you pick whatever specialties you want to apply to, or you can pick a few and you apply everywhere. And then
everywhere meaning across the country?
Canada, I'll be applying to the States as well.
Really?
Yes.
We are not letting you go.
Oh.
You have to stay.
Yeah.
We like you, Teresa.
So you want to apply everywhere.
Of course.
And then you go wherever you get placed. Because that's
just the
where
way it
you
works.
are. But it's only for the amount of time of your residency, which is anything from, the shortest residency is 2 years for family medicine, but some are up to 5 or 6 if you're doing neurology or dermatology.
Well, rheumatology.
So you would do internal medicine, which is 3 years, which is what I'm interested in, because then you can do a fellowship, which is something after residency, which is usually about a year or 2, in a subspecialty.
Okay.
So rheumatology or endocrinology.
But have you, after the internal medicine thing, do you think you'd go to rheumatology?
I do like rheumatology after,
We're
especially
really
after
nice
research.
people.
I like rheumatology. I kind of, I do like it.
It's interesting in rheumatology, and I actually think there's some research on what type of people go into one type of specialty versus another. And this isn't a sales pitch, but it's kind of a sales pitch. And in rheumatology, you have to say, you get that initial consult with a patient, you get a lot of time. And people who really, I don't know, I'm going to say super patient focused and really don't mind spending that much time with patients. And because you don't have, there's no real definitive tests that lead to absolute diagnosis. It's tests help with the diagnosis, but it's really the art of the clinical exam, the history. Exactly. So I think a lot of people that are rheumatology colleagues of mine over the years, that's the way they've described it to me. So that's just a little soft sell here on the side for rheumatology.
No, that's interesting.
That's super exciting. So talk about your relationship. We're going to touch on mentoring and being a mentee. So our viewers have had the chance to hear from this year's distinguished investigator winner, which is Dr. Diane Lacaille, for her body of research on arthritis in the workplace in particular, and developing real programs both online and in person that will help people like me, I have rheumatoid arthritis, live better lives, not just sort of medically, but holistically. So when you think about the relationship you have with your mentors, so what are some of the big pearls that you've come away with from the mentorship?
I just think that it's great to have a mentor that's just so knowledgeable and passionate about what she's studying and takes on so many different roles within that world. So she just whenever I have any issue or questions, she just knows how what the answer is and just explains things in such a nice way and like really helps guide me through the process, making me feel like I'm doing it myself and learning along the way. But it's really good. And she's really kind and she's a great supervisor.
Yeah, she's just a fantastic
she's
human,
awesome.
you know. And also all of those wonderful qualities spill over into not just her research role, but her clinical role as well.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Are you in your master's, do you guys do any kind of preceptorship with your mentor? Like, do you go into clinic with her?
No, this is more of a research-based master's.
Research-based, yeah. And are you centered at Arthritis Research Canada?
Yes.
Yeah, under her wings?
In my little cubicle.
In your little cubicle. We all live in a cubicle. It's okay, Teresa.
No, I like my cubicle. It's on the corner.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Tell us, if you will, as we kind of wrap up with our audience and let you get back to the science at hand, tell our viewers sort of, because we have people who are health professionals, they're people at your stage of career development. What kind of pearls can you give people who want to do what you're doing? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? And then tell people what some of the, your tips and traps, if you will.
I would say that if you have an interest in something, then you should pursue it and not pay attention to what other people say about how hard something is or how many hurdles you have to go through or you can't do it a certain way. And also to learn that your plan might change a lot. Like you might, I wasn't planning on doing the master's, but it happened. And then I'm so happy that it happened this way now. So it's just, you have to go with the flow, be passionate about what you're studying and don't let other people's opinions.
So persistence in your belief.
Persistence, but also stay happy and don't get too anxious or stressed about anything because it's all in your control. Okay, how can someone so young have such good advice? That's fantastic. I wish I'd heard that myself when I was your age. It's really hard for people sometimes not to listen to the noise, right? That's people telling you to go one way or another. And people go off track and then they're miserable. They don't really like what they do. And I think in particular, if you're a physician, you should really be happy about the profession you chose. Yeah. Because it has a direct impact on patient care, actually. Yeah, and your own experience as a health professional. Great advice. Teresa, the wonderful, the magical. Thank you for having me.
Oh, are you kidding? You're such a treat. We loved having you. First time interviewee here at Arthritis Broadcast Network. So thanks a lot for tuning in, everyone. And any questions, Anita?
There's this
Oh,
one. What
excellent.
did you think, like in your systematic review, did you come across any literature about depression and rheumatoid arthritis, and how about other mental health issues?
I did come across studies like that, and those are articles that I'll be looking at more for the second part of my thesis. And there was, in certain studies, links to increased levels of depression among the RA population, but we don't know if it's a directly impact from disease activity or if it's because of any lifestyle factors that cause it.
Yeah, so this is a really important question, and a great answer. And I'll just add this one little piece. For so long, research had not told us, patients with RA and other types of inflammatory arthritis, that fatigue is actually a manifestation of the disease. Mm-hmm. That when your disease is more active, you might not have many more swollen or active joints, but think of fatigue like a swollen joint.
Exactly.
And so there's a chance, you're saying, or perhaps, that depression, it might be a disease manifestation, a classical disease manifestation.
Well, we don't know, but it could be.
No, I get it. Yeah. The rates of depression in these types of diseases is actually high. I can tell you, I got instantly depressed when I was given my diagnosis, and I was diagnosed 30 years ago, Teresa.
Yes.
And there was not much known at all about that.
No.
It's really only, and we thank the mental health movement for actually uncovering some of this stuff. We know that depression and mental health issues now in many chronic diseases, not just having mental health issues standalone, but in combination or hand in glove with these other chronic diseases. So we wish you a lot of luck. We want you to hurry up and give us the answer.
Yeah. I'll be finishing this year. So.
Okay, good. So you'll come back?
With my answers.
Okay, perfect. That's okay. Well, your answers are good answers. Anyway, thanks so much for coming in. We appreciate it. Any other questions? Okay, great. Thank you very much to our Facebook and Twitter Live watchers, viewers. These things, of course, will live on the Arthritis Broadcast Network channels, so you can go back and revisit them or share them with your friends and family. Thanks.
Thank
See you soon.